Hello friends. Well, if you've got a little free time, I'd like to invite you to join me on a hike. I think I'll call this the quiet spring hike. Spring is certainly all around me now here in the mountains of Japan. Look at the flowers behind me. But other than the sights of spring, I'm not seeing or hearing actually many noises yet. It's still very quiet here. I hear the croaking of frogs down below in the stream. I hear the bird call and the wind through the trees. But other than that, it's very silent and still. I'm going to venture up a road here. I'm pretty sure it comes to a dead end, and who knows what we'll find beyond. If you're game, why don't you join me? Let's go. Can you hear the water drizzling over the rocks there? Coming down in lines, streaming through the wet rocks, through the boulders down below. That's one nice sound. I really like the sound of falling water in the mountains. Looking across this valley to valleys beyond. Beautiful landscape. The one area that we see there is, it looks like a cleared spot. Those are tea fields that have been cultivated right out of the top of that mountain. Farmers in the villages beyond made those tea fields probably several generations back, and they've been farming them ever since with their little putt-putt machines that go up to the top of the hills. They're probably there working the terraces now. Japanese green tea. Do you hear that? That's kumonbachi, a bumblebee. A little hard to get a good picture of, but kumon means bear. It's the bear bee, or bumblebee as we know him, going about his business of making a living in the forest. The sound is somewhat different from that of the suzumibachi, the giant Asian giant hornet, but they can be mistaken one for the other. Good luck, bumblebee. Bear bee. Well, here's a landslide that has fallen down. Makes a bit of an obstacle for the farmers that come up here. But what I found most curious was on the other side. Look at this. This appears to be a foundation for some sort of a monument. Often I see Jizo statues on just something just like that. Although I don't see any statues, I do see these. There's two stones that are quite suspicious in terms of making me think there might have been a monument here at one point. This one's broken, can't quite figure it out. Checked both sides, I couldn't find any writing on either side, but you can see how there are marks here. It looks like it's been chiseled away. The other side, no giant centipedes and no marks either. But the one that really got my attention was this one over here. You can see that it has a nice symmetry to it, and down here, it looks like some sort of a material that would have been used to perhaps affix it to the base to stand upright. There are no markings on it. The only thing I can find is this beautiful, basically a print of a leaf. In some ways, a more picturesque monument than any man could ever make. Beautiful. Wild cherry trees. Cherry blossoms are falling along the road here. A little breeze came up and is spilling cherry blossoms to the road below. Now it's one thing to experience a cascade of cherry blossoms in a park in Tokyo or Kyoto, where everything's been cultivated and human maintained. But it's quite another thing to experience that in the wild, in cherry trees that have basically escaped domestication and gone wild. These trees are here because of birds. Birds eating the cherries at the villages down in the valley, flying up here and depositing the seeds wherever they land in their waste. And then wild cherry trees appearing and dotting the landscape to fall on the happy, smiling face of a foreigner wandering through the mountains. I forgot my bear bell on this trip, and while approaching this waterfall, I heard something moving back there, something big. Anybody back here? Any bears, any boars, any onis, any... who knows what? Beautiful little waterfall there, trickling down out of the forest. Love stuff like this. More sounds in the silent spring. Does that make it foolish? Does that make it silly for me to refer to this as the silent spring hike? And the focus of the clips I've been making so far are on the sounds that I'm hearing. The bumblebee, the water, the sound of the frogs. Well, I guess it is, in some ways, as these are sounds that sometimes escape my attention when I'm hiking, as the normal noise of the forest kind of drowns out a lot of the individual sounds. So on a day like this, I can focus more on the ones which are more present at this time. It's really beautiful here. This stretch of road is following along mountains, off in the distance some beautiful peaks. I'm really glad that you're coming along with me. Let's keep going. Come on. Coming along the road here, I've come to a bamboo grove where the colors are almost... what would I call this? Is it iridescent? Is it electric? Is it fluorescent? There it's fading. Let's do this again. One more pass. The intensity is here. Wow, look at that. What is that? What would we call a color like this, a green like this, a vibrant green, a living green, a green that would be impossible to capture on an artist's easel, a green that is uniquely and intensely nature's own. That's a good one, I think. These mountains are home to utterly enormous toads. And sometimes when I peek over the edge of these little spillways, we can find them in the pools. I heard some croaking. Let's see. Approach quietly. Hear the croaking. The croaking is further up there. We might see some down here. No toads here, although they're definitely about. Here's another culvert. I wonder if we'll see some toads in the water here. Let's take a look. Hear them. couldn't get a good view of them. We heard their croaking and they all went in under cover as soon as they saw me. Toad grotto, or really frog grotto. They're both frogs, enormous frogs, and enormous toads, both in this area. Yeah, we could hear them. Well, I've come to a flat spot in the road, and the view across the valley is really stunning. The trees beyond are so beautiful. And there's a mountain peak up here that is shrouded in clouds. And over here we have cherry blossoms in magnificent bloom. Not even a few petals on the ground. It's just waiting, almost ready, just in perfect situation. And we're at a shrine. A very lonely shrine. There's nobody up here. Just as humble petitioners to a higher power. Beautiful. The altar inside is so well maintained. Someone obviously cares a lot. Beautiful, beautiful little shrine.